Welcome to First Trade, the show where we're educating new investors and traders. We recognize that some of us are experienced traders,
and some of us aren't. That's why we wanted to level the playing field and make the markets accessible to everyone.
Thanks for tuning in, and we hope you enjoy the show.
Heyo, what is going on, Zinger Nation? Welcome to First Trade. This is your favorite show for beginner traders, but you know, if you're not so beginner trader, there's always something to be learned. So, thank you for coming and hanging out, joining the community. We did start a little bit late. I want to acknowledge that. Sorry, we're waiting for our main man Ricky to show up, the star of the show. That's why you guys are here. But without further ado, we wanted to get this started. We have quite a bit to talk about, folks. If you don't know what First Trade is, Michael, do you know what First Trade is?
Yeah, it's a show.
It's a show indeed, folks.
All right, it's a show for people who have made their first trade, are making their first trade, or want to get into the markets and make trades as a first trader. It's explainers. We have great guests. It's mostly about the guests. We do have great guests, but it is a show for those of us who do not know how to make trades and are getting into the market for the first time. It's for those inexperienced investors, and there's entertainment for the experienced investors that just want to hang out and, chill.
Yeah, entertainment is mostly consisting of me ripping on Michael. I am a beginner trader by all means, and that is kind of the point of this show is you guys learn as I learn, and I'm sure, obviously, Michael's more experienced than myself, but he's still learning, and it just shows that there's always more to be learned. Michael, the week has been a little bit better in terms of the markets. Now, I know you're mostly invested in Bang Energy at the moment, but how's it been going?
I'd like to just clarify for a second that you said the week has been a little bit better in terms of the markets, as the Dow is down like 500 points today.
Okay, maybe not today. Maybe not today. I haven't checked today, to be completely honest. But it's better than last week, isn't it?
We did video news this morning about how horribly the markets are getting brutalized. And then you come on and you're like, oh, it's a good week, man. It's not bad.
I'm just trying to have a positive mindset,
Well, there is no positive mindset today. I can say I am deeply in the red. Philip Trevor in the chat says, what is happening on the NASDAQ? Well, what happened is nobody's really happy right now. It's a rough day. Obviously, the biggest thing is crypto. You got to get into crypto, right? We just had the Moon or Bust show, right? Wasn't that was on right before?
Yeah, we did. And this is how I feel about that.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're
I
fine.
hate
You're
this
not really
sound.
fine.
It's funny, bro.
I do not.
Oh, man.
But
Yeah,
it is descriptive of what's happening today. It's true.
Listen, I put out a tweet with the help of Spencer Israel earlier today, and it said Bitcoin going out of business sale, everything must go. And it kind of summarizes my feelings. If it continues to drop, you know what? Yes, I'm losing money, but I'm excited to make more of it, and I'm excited for things to go on sale. So I am not complaining over here. Obviously, we had the whole situation like they talked about on Moon or Bust with China putting in some regulation and also Elon starting that off. So a little bit of a downturn, and we'll see how it goes. But if it starts to go back up on the uptrend, then I'll be buying in a little bit.
I think it's a good buy opportunity, right? You got to view it that way. I mean, I think it's a huge deal that Bitcoin went as low as it did this morning. I think that's a sign of a big bounce coming, or at least I sure hope so, based on the amount of Bitcoin I bought this morning. If it doesn't bounce, I'll be a little disappointed. But it's a buy opportunity, right? I mean, I don't think there's a lot of opportunities to come along right now where you have a chance to buy in a big dip like this. And I think we all know it's going to continue going up. So capitalize on it, right? Jump on the opportunity when it shows up.
Yeah, but we're not giving out financial advice.
I'm not giving out financial advice. I am just saying that, I am trying to jump in there and take the opportunity because I need to get more into crypto. I've been mostly into stocks. I haven't gotten into crypto enough. And I think it's the biggest opportunity of our generation, give or take.
Yeah.
Other than electric vehicles.
And honestly, interesting thing. I learned something new about crypto taxes. I know I was talking about, about my conspiracy theories with you last night, but I learned about something new where in crypto, you can sell and then buy at the same price and it counts as a sell. So you can count it as a loss. So say right now your Bitcoin tanked down to, 37,000 and you had it, you bought in at 50, whatever, right? If you sold it and then bought it back immediately, granted, you'd be incurring fees, but then you could take that entire loss off your taxes. So pretty cool loophole there. Look more into it if you're big into crypto. Definitely something I'm considering doing. But right now, my account isn't very significantly taxable anyway. So,
well, picture this too. I'm sitting in the office at 9 o'clock at night. I'm enjoying some orange chicken that Rohan was gracious enough to pick up. And this guy walks into the office as I'm just sitting eating my orange chicken, and he just starts giving me his strategies for evading the tax market in cryptocurrency. It's like, here's how I would do it if I didn't want to pay taxes. I know I just put you on a watch list, but it's true. And you know what? It was actually some good thoughts. It was very interesting. I ruminated on it all night.
listen, all I'm saying is the U.S. government is going to have some interesting difficulties trying to tax people. I just got word from Neil that Ricky will be joining us in a second here. He's joining now. He had a mix up with the wrong time. It happens, folks. This is live programming. It's only our third live episode, but you get to sit here and listen to me and Michael BS around. But we'll make sure to get right into it when Ricky joins. We're definitely looking forward to that. Michael, what's on your radar in terms of like stocks itself? Anything of interest to you?
Yeah, I mean, usually I would say no. Up until yesterday, I would have said no. And now that we're in the market that we're in today, I actually would say yes, because everything I had on my watch list, like Monday and Tuesday, that I'm like, oh, everything's still overinflated. Today, I see a lot of buying opportunities. So, I mean, for me, I really like U.S. bank stocks. There's a couple I really want to get into because everybody's piling into that. Everybody wants a piece of those. I think there's a decent shot to get into a couple I've wanted to get into. But specific tickers, I still like Enphase. And they actually had some really good news come out recently. I think it was a new partnership they announced with a smaller distributor in Asia. But I'm pretty excited about that. I think that's a good one. I want to dig into that one today. Unfortunately, I have not even opened my Robinhood account one time this morning, so I actually have not bought anything yet. But I'm planning on it. This afternoon I'm going to. But that's where I'm digging into later today.
Nice. Yeah, Enphase is definitely one that you've been talking to me about for a while. And I might, do some snooping in the Weebles tonight. Oh, it looks like we got Ricky joining. All right, folks. Well, you know what? I just want to address one thing. There was a comment that said, wow, I might buy high and sell low. Worst advice. That's not what I was saying. I said, if you happen to have bought high and the market is low, you could lock in the loss and then buy back in, and it might be good for your taxes. But no, I'm not saying buy high and sell low. All right. with that, folks, I want to get right into it. Let's get Ricky on the show, and he's what you're here for. So, folks, Ricky Gutierrez, excuse me.
Well, hello. How's it going?
What's up, Ricky?
Can you hear me okay? Can you guys hear me
okay?
okay?
Yeah, we hear you.
Loud and clear.
You guys gave me the wrong time. Maybe I just have it incorrectly, but Mountain Standard Time right now, it's 12 o'clock over here. I do apologize for showing up late, guys.
Oh, no, it's all on our end, man.
That is 100% probably on our end. I think there was a mix up with Neil or something like that, but it's all good. You're here now.
Let's all blame Neil for this, okay?
Yeah. Where's he at?
I like that plan. I like it. So how are we all doing today? What a day, huh?
And it is an interesting one, that's for sure.
And I want to also, are you taking this call in the gym right now? Just out of pure curiosity?
No, don't say that. I literally came from the gym. I'm eating Raising Cane's, and we're getting I'm here at the HQ. So I bought a building, and my goal is for all of our members that are part of LPP. We're creating this kind of like WeWork for them, and
awesome.
we're getting some custom tables installed. So I'm here until 12:30. I was like, perfect. I have time to go back to the house, change. But no, thank you, Neil, for putting me in the.
Damn it, Neil.
It's all good. You can show off the gains, brag a little bit. You're going to the gym.
Yeah,
definitely making me feel like I'm slacking a little bit, but yeah.
Awesome, man. Congrats on the building, man.
Today is definitely interesting.
Yeah.
For sure.
Give us your thoughts.
We have a great team. Yeah. It seems like there might be a little bit of a lag. It might be on my part. Not sure.
There might be
a bit of a delay. We'll just try and be a little careful and not talk over each other. So I think what Michael was saying is we'd love to hear your thoughts on the current market.
I wonder if that went through okay. Yeah, can you hear us okay?
Yeah, I can hear you guys now. It was breaking up a little bit. It might be on my side. Sorry about that.
No worries at all. Well, if you can hear us, Ricky, I want to get right into it. on the First Trade show, it is called First Trade for a reason, and there's one question we have to ask every guest that comes on.
Of course.
And so I know you started young. Do you remember your first trade? What was the ticker? What was the thought process there? How did it pan out? Do you remember?
I don't remember my first trade. I remember my most popular one, the one that really got, I think, attention for me on YouTube. And it was one, it was MOBQ, MOTQ, something like that. It was a lower cap stock. I was uploading videos about a bunch of different things that I was doing when I was in college. I was 20 years old. I got pre-qualified for my first house. I was talking about that. I was buying and selling cars. I talked about that. No one cared. And then I made $113 off of MOBQ. And that video got 50,000 views for some apparent reason. And ever since then, I just began to make content that was really just answering our followers' questions. A question we get asked all the time is, how do you come up with new videos every single day, right? Luckily, I partake in a market that's always changing. So there's always something in some form of way to talk about. Of course, some days are a little bit more dry than others. But today's a perfect day to talk about, even for crypto. I'm not huge on crypto, but one of the things that I personally like to do is I like to encourage people when they feel the most down, and just seeing the absolute just slaughter that happened today with Bitcoin, with all the main cryptocurrencies, the stable coins, and also the altcoins, to put into perspective on we always talk about position size for the stock market. As the stock market is selling off, it's very naive, at least in my experience, to think that I'm going to buy the dip with my entire account size and expect it to recover the next day. So one of the things, one of the PDFs that I actually shared with you guys to share with everyone that's watching are the 3 stages of a reversal. And it simply highlights, I'm sure everyone watching, if they've traded for some time, has gotten into a stock, and then 5 or 10 minutes later, you're just like, I should have just waited, maybe waited for confirmation. I bought in early. It's still a falling knife. And it's a very uncomfortable position to be in when you're fully invested. But let's be honest, like right now, as Bitcoin is pulling back, as Ethereum is pulling back, someone like myself that wasn't invested views this as a good deal. And that's what I talked about in today's video. One of my videos today is doing really well. And just because it encourages people to put yourself in a position that your future self can thank you for. And I think deals or moments like these, when people are panic selling and during such unfortunate times, are when you can really put yourself, can really benefit your future self.
Absolutely. It sounds like we lost you a little bit at the end there. I'm going to make sure we get that PDF.
Sorry about that.
No worries. I think we got the most of it. But no, that's great. And actually, at the starting there, you kind of mentioned something I wanted to ask you about too. Is I know you kind of started off like buying and selling cars, and I remember there were a couple of guys doing that on YouTube way back. I'm a big car guy myself, so I used to. But just it's a random, unrelated question. But
yeah,
I don't know what's your favorite car right now. What was your favorite car story? Maybe
one of the cars that I enjoyed the most is one of the cars that I just sold. People love to ask me, what's the next car that I'm going to buy, or why did I buy? I had a Ferrari 488 out of 2016, and I bought it September 28th of 2020. I never plan out my cars. I never, I might have a goal of like, hey, I'm kind of looking for something, but at the end of the day, my biggest focus is getting a good deal. I bought that car. People think that might sound different. One of the things that I always try to encourage people to do, especially in my age group, like I feel like people that are my age are always just trying to flex their cars and just show like what they have while others don't. My biggest thing is, if you look at any of my videos, when I buy expensive cars, I get empowered and I get so happy by being able to post, I bought the cheapest Ferrari, I bought the cheapest GTR, I bought the cheapest Lamborghini, because I know that by buying it effectively, just because you have money doesn't mean you have to throw it away. I bought it for $200 flat from someone that needed a cash buyer, and I sold it. It was April 30th is when I handed the car over. It closed on May 4th, and I sold it for $214,000. I put 4,000 miles on it. I bought it with 4,000 miles. So overall, I sold it with 8,000 miles. I enjoyed the car for 8 months. It's like the best of both worlds. It's like you get to drive around in a sick car, and you get to make money while doing so. And all it requires is you can do this with anything. You can do this with, I bought and sold Ford Focuses. I did this with Kia Rios. That's how I got started. But I had such a big passion for cars that as I began to do better, it didn't mean that I had to blindly buy a car just because I could afford it. And I think that's the thing that encourages me the most is now that I'm in a position to buy, let's be honest, not any car, but any car, or to some degree, like a lot of cars that are very popular or desired, is the times that I try to be selective. Now, if you as you say that you're into cars, I'm sure you've seen the car market right now. They're inflated by 10 to 15%. It's absolutely insane. And I think this is when it made sense to me that I'm just going to lock in my profits, wait to see if the market pulls on back, and if it does, great. If not, I have my little Tesla. I have a Tesla Model 3, the basic one, and I'm enjoying it. So I'm literally just trying to make the most of it in the different markets that we partake in.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, I mean, the car market is all sorts of crazy right now, and definitely used cars are up in value. But
right.
appreciate you answering that question, and I thought it was super cool how you like kind of arbitrage that way.
Yeah.
Unrelated to stocks, I guess, but similar enough. Concepts apply. I have your PDF that you shared. Yep. So you're talking about the 3 stages of reversal, how to buy a dip. Yep. So would you mind just talking us through this?
Of course. So I want to use a specific stock. I don't have to pull up any charts on my side if we don't have to. But one of the things that I really like about the 3 stages of a reversal is it literally encourages people to hold back. Right now is a perfect example with the NASDAQ market. I don't really want to talk about crypto. I don't really trade crypto myself at all. But I want to talk about the overall NASDAQ market as a big focus on tech. Any market in general as of right now has recently pulled on back. People are freaking out, but let's be honest. People weren't freaking out when the NASDAQ market was on a 20-day bull run. It hit all-time highs for no apparent reason, right? But now that the market pulls back a little bit, everyone's like, dude, what the heck is going on? You're surprised market breathe a little bit. Like this is actually, it makes more sense now to buy than it did when you were at 180-day highs, as there's actually margin for potential recovery. So all this encourages you to do is it encourages you to build a plan for when the market does begin to recover. So right now, all I've been focused on every single week, if you guys watch my videos on YouTube, is talking about stocks that are oversold. These are not penny stocks. These are not anything against them. Those aren't stocks that I want to hold for a long period of time that I would feel comfortable, right? I'm talking about blue chip stocks. I've talked about stocks that have unfortunate years or unfortunately have pulled back due to earnings. I love earnings season because stocks pull back, and those are when the deals present themselves. So that's all I focus on when, if you go on to the first stage or the next slide for the 3 stages of reversal, it talks about the first stage, right? And that's where you can see stage 1, where we're getting rejected. That's kind of the stage that we're in as of right now, when the market's making lower lows, lower highs, and we haven't really found a support level. This is the stage that a lot of people go all in into. How many of you guys watching have ever bought the dip, but then it continues to sell off? And it's like one of the worst feelings because you literally feel like you're sitting on your hands because you have no more buying power. It continues to sell off, but let's be honest, you don't want to cut losses, right? Because you still got it for a decent deal. What can you do differently? And this is one of the things. This is just one of many ways. You can test it out if you see value in it. At the end of the day, there's very different ways on how you can approach the market. Just don't be afraid to try or test new things. The thing that this really focuses on is as we're in stage 1, which is viewed as high risk, and something is selling off, this is the stage that I would either be 0% invested, or if you have some experience, to be 10% invested. And what does that mean? Well, in retrospect, if you have $1,000 in your account, that's going in with $100. Enough to have some skin in the game, but not so much to feel uncomfortable. If you're in with $100 and you have $1,000 in your account and it drops 5%, yeah, it might suck, but guess what? You can tolerate it, because you have enough buying power to make the difference, or it's such a minute dollar amount that it doesn't really affect you. But let's be honest, if you were in with the full $1,000 and it dropped 5%, you might be a little bit more uncomfortable. So all we ever like to encourage you to do is put yourself in a position to succeed. Plan for the worst and prepare for the best. Stage number 2, which is viewed as medium risk. This is when we begin to experience some form of consolidation. As of right now, if I look a little bit closer to the overall NASDAQ market, I can't say we are at that stage, but kind of. If you look at the overall NASDAQ market, or if you're on Webull or something like that, it's IXIC, and you can see on the 4-hour time frame we have recently pulled on back. We're at around the SMA line, and the really cool thing about that is that it is kind of consolidating. It's not making lower lows anymore. It's not making higher highs. This is where, if you do have experience and you feel a little bit more comfortable buying into that stock of whatever it is that you might see value in, this is where I would go in either from 0 to 20% being invested. So again, out of the $1,000, an example can be being in with either $0 or $200. But it's during stage 3. Let's be honest. It is so much easier to make money in this market when the direction is in your favor. So why not wait for confirmation? Well, it's the very simple things in life that people tend to overcomplicate. Let's be honest, right? We always do that. We love to buy the dip, and we don't like to be patient. This is something that we all struggle with. But if you more often than not see that, yeah, you might miss out on a little bit of that reversal, but you'll be more effective and you'll be more efficient. You'll get in when it makes sense, and you'll get in when the action is happening. That's when you can begin to average up into your position. And one of the stocks that I want to talk about that recently experienced unfortunate news is, how many of you guys heard about AT&T? AT&T dropped like 15% today. If you guys look at its ticker symbol T right now on whatever trading platform it is that you are using. I actually want to look at it right now. I can see, it's down another 2.5% today. It was at overall highs just 3 days ago, at highs of $33.98. This is AT&T, the multi-billion-dollar corporation, right? Pulled back all the way to lows of $29 to $28. And it doesn't mean that you have to buy right now. That's not the thing. It's like, because we all know that it could continue to drop. They reported unfortunate news, right? That they're cutting half of their dividends or all of their dividends. And also they're partnering up with the Discovery and trying to create a competing platform such as Netflix or Disney Plus. They're trying to clean up their balance sheets according to the different articles that I read. Read a little bit more into it, but the idea of this is these are the stocks that I like to focus because the quality companies, you weren't already invested in them, which means that you can take advantage. It's unfortunate for everyone that experienced that 15% loss, but guess what? For people like you and I, this is a time where we can add it to our watch list. We don't have to buy into them. Who cares what I'm investing in? Who cares what everyone else is investing in? Do your part in effective watch list, creating effective alerts, and sitting, taking advantage of actual opportunities. And that's the thing that I'm looking out for, because if you look at it from where it's at right now, at lows of, let's just say $29. It's sub 29. It's 28.80 to be exact. But if it were to make not even a full recovery, but if it were to recover to that common resistance level at 32.30, that's a 12% recovery on a multi-billion-dollar corporation. Or if it recovers to all-time highs at highs of $35, $34, that's about an 18% recovery from current price points. And again, I think that puts into perspective. That's a lot of margin. Even if I capture 5 or 10% of that, out of the 18%, you think I'm going to complain? I did my part in ignoring the noise, identifying a decent deal based off previous patterns. I added it to my watch list. It doesn't mean that I have to blindly buy the dip like everyone else. I like to keep things simple. I add it to my watch list. I set effective alerts. And once it begins, once I get into that third stage of a reversal, that's when I begin to load up on it. And when I will add more to my position size, and as we approach that previous resistance level, I'll begin to lock in profits and load off on it. Those are my main focuses. I like to focus on either stocks that experience negative news or that go through bad earnings and then they drop. Right, as of right now is a perfect time. It's a perfect example. The overall NASDAQ market is down. A lot of tech is down. Amazon is down. Facebook is down. It's like all these huge corporations are down, and they're down a decent amount. Let me look a little bit more into it. I think Amazon. Let's see where Amazon's at. Yeah, Amazon from where we're at right now to previous, and let's be honest, Amazon's a freaking machine. If it were to make a full recovery, that's about a 4% recovery from where we're at right now. If it were to make a full recovery, and let me ask you this: trust me, Amazon's not an exciting stock. Let's be honest, right? It's not your AMC, it's not your Dogecoin. But guess what? How many of you guys watching have been more red than green lately? So it's not so much about what's exciting, but it's more about you need to learn how to walk before you run. And trust me, you have nothing but time, especially if you're young. If you're younger than me, I don't want to hear any complaints. I'm 26 years old. I'm getting older. And it's so mind-boggling to me that like I have people that message me all the time of like, Ricky, I'm like, super motivated, super eager. And I think that's great. But the main difference is, are you someone that's willing to put forth and put in the time to build a solid foundation, a solid understanding of principles and criteria that every investment or trade have to meet to get yourself to a point, to scale to a point, to get to where you can make a living off of this, right? And I think that's the thing about this is that even with stocks like Amazon, if you are not up with that potential that it offers, it's 13% if it were to make a full recovery. Even with Amazon being a stable company, it's a very slow moving stock. 13% is still 13%. So yeah, it's not the most exciting, but if you're someone that is down on a series of positions, then maybe it's not the worst idea on focusing on stocks that have bullish tendencies. Yeah, they might not move as much as you might want them to, but guess what? Like, you'll learn a lot from partaking in quality companies, and then you can slowly begin to get more aggressive, more risky as time goes on, if that's what you choose to do so. But that's where I made my biggest mistake. Although I love the excitement of lower cap stocks, momentum stocks, I just knew that I wasn't wired for it. And let's be honest, there's so many different ways on how to make money in this market, with options, which is viewed as high risk, high reward, with lower cap stocks, penny stocks, momentum stocks, and or just value investing or trading less aggressive moving stocks. There's so many different ways. So never be afraid to test new things just because someone's doing something and someone might be doing well doing something. Don't think that that's the only option for you. That's why when people message me and they're like, hey, Ricky, should I get into the stock market or should I get into crypto? I'm just like, dude, I don't know. I was like, what do you like more? He's like, I like crypto. I like Forex because it's more accessible due to my schedule. I'm like, do crypto then. I'm never here to convince someone that the way that I do things is the best way. I make mistakes every freaking day. Today, Tesla's down 3%. I had too much. I just posted an update on my Instagram account. Yesterday was amazing, man. Yesterday I was up $27,000. Majority of that was attributed to my Tesla position. Today I was down $19,000. So, but again, it's about putting yourself in a position in which you can tolerate. For people, $27,000 in a day might be life-changing money. For people losing $19,000 in a day, that can be devastating. But again, it is all based off of the position that you put yourself in. Do not put yourself in a position to fail, and that is simply a question that only you can answer.
Yeah, no, I really appreciated that. It was super good overview. Generally, that's what we've been talking about on, Luke talks about on the Power Hour, as far as like, it's a dangerous game buying dips, but if done right, then there's a lot to be learned. And I appreciate you talking about, especially like there's so many different ways to invest. I'm kind of experiencing that myself as well right now, because I don't know. I weirdly got like, okay, so if you don't know, this show is we're on the 13th episode, or 14th, I'm not sure, but I started on the first episode, and we go every week. And that's when I started in the stock market. And I produce the Biotech Buzz here at Benzinga. I produce a couple other shows. So naturally, I was just kind of like interested in gaining exposure to a bunch of different types of trading, biotech stocks, value stocks, stuff like that. And I like trying things out because it kind of gives me a feel for everything, but I'm realizing more and more, like I'm starting to see where I feel more comfortable, being involved in. And I definitely recommend, people do that as well. You gotta find what works for you. Ricky, I had some people, I know we started late and we do have another show already going, so I feel bad we're going over a little bit, but I would love if you could just talk a little bit about ICP. I know you mentioned at the starting, you got that space you're building out, but would love to hear about it.
What was it that you were asking me about?
ICP.
What is that?
So someone commented about it. We have one moment, sorry. Let's see, Niraj.
We had one person who was very excited to hear about ICP, and I'm not even sure what that symbol is, but he was really pushing for it.
That's in the market.
Let's see.
No, I don't think it is. But all right, you know what? Sorry, this is crypto. We don't have to talk about crypto. That's Internet Computer. We were watching the crypto show before. My mistake.
I'm sorry about that. I was just like, oh man.
No, that
not
I
aware
was
of that ticker.
misguided there a little bit too. So all
Dude,
good.
I'm just excited to like actually have a guest on that's not like so deep into crypto, because I feel like every guest we've had on is like, dude, crypto's the way of the future, man. And I'm like, I'm not big into crypto. Like I'm
Yeah.
interested in getting into it more. It's fine, but I love stocks, and I'm super pumped to have you on, because this feels like the first time I've had a guest that actually agrees with me and isn't like just diving into crypto head first. So I'm excited about it. Like I love talking some stocks. It was awesome.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys having me. And one of the conversations that we actually just had with our LPP members is that with crypto especially, I actually bought some today because it made the most sense as everything pulls on back. These are the times that I like to
Right.
lightly invest. But I know that we're over on our time, and I don't want to intrude on the next speaker. So I really do appreciate both you, Rohan, and Michael, and thank you, Neil, for telling me the wrong time. But I appreciate you guys having me. I really do.
Yeah, no, I mean, appreciate you coming on, Ricky, and appreciate you being flexible and making it work at the last minute there.
Of course.
And folks, check out if you're not already, you're half the reason you're probably here is because of Ricky. So if you're part of his community, shout out, drop a 1. But if you aren't, definitely go ahead and check out his YouTube channel, providing great knowledge. You might have, as you saw on the show today, and also check out LPP. And of course, with that, folks, this has been First Trade. Thank you so much for hanging out. Ricky,
Appreciate you guys
thanks for
having
coming
me.
on.
Thank you.
man.
Take it easy, guys.
Take care.
Bye.
All right.